In the 70s they called it war paint, like, you know, the Indians were covering their faces in war paint, you know, to go into war, and that was the way these cars were designed. Yeah, they were designed to look dangerous. They looked to be the winner. Is, you know, complete anarchy. It's randomness. It's a lot of, you know, mechanics pasting stickers somewhere on the car, and that is what makes these cars so strange. The car, or the body of the car, really has to follow aerodynamics completely. So it's all about aerodynamics, and the graphic design doesn't have to follow that. The cars were also redesigned all the time. You know, if you were racing a car for more than one season, you know, you had a new sponsor, you placed new logos on it, and there were different people working on that. There were no graphic designers involved. Most cars were really, you know, designed, if you could say that, by mechanics or by sponsors or by just by the race teams. In the 50s there was Briggs Cunningham, an American race driver and technician, and he constructed a car and he wanted to race it at Le Mans. And he had this idea, this brilliant idea to, you know, place a blue stripe on a white car, and then the year after in Le Mans all cars were covered in stripes and, you know, different colors, and that was really the birth of the famous Go Faster stripe. Go Faster is a book about the graphic design of racing cars. It's about the moment when the three-dimensional object of a car and the two-dimensional graphics come together. They make these cars visually faster. You know, they don't make them faster, but they look faster. So that's also where the title from the book comes from. Yeah, Go Faster. It's about looking faster, not really being faster. Just before the 70s, sponsors were allowed into racing. And then the national colors were dropped, and, you know, suddenly you had a Marlboro Ferrari, or you had a Gulf Porsche. And I think that period of the 70s, when there were just very few sponsors, but very strong designs, and, you know, also the 70s, you had all these colorful furniture, and everything was flower power, and these cars were flower power too. I came up with the idea to use these small models, and, you know, the models and the toy cars that I already had and I could easily collect, and I was just, you know, painting them all over white with chalk, and it was a very messy job, but then you could tell really what is the form of the car, and you could see what is the graphics and what is the difference between both, and, you know, which is aerodynamic, which is anti-aerodynamic, and what happens if you place numbers and lines and everything on that car, and also see the variations. You know, you have one shape of a car, but you have different variations in different race cars. There's many really cool stories about, you know, some cars, but I think the best is really about the Pig, the short 917 version that was run in Le Mans, and it was made for Martini Racing. And when Sir Rossi, the head of Martini, when he saw that car, it was painted in pink like a pig in the butcher, and was covered all over with these names of shoulder and so on, and he said, no way, racing is a man's sport and we cannot run a pink car on the racetrack. And then he'd withdraw all the logos, all the Martini logos from the car. I think design has, you know, developed itself towards this amateurishness again. You know, I think this kind of handmade and wrongness is you know, it's really working well today. This is about a kind of a graphic competition that's going on. It's about which is the most beautiful, which is the most photographed car on a racetrack. That's different today. Today it's about, you know, which company, which brand has the most TV coverage. But back in the 70s it was like, we have the coolest car. You know, ours looks most contemporary. Ours is, you know, the one that really draws attention. And that's very contemporary, actually. And today, graphic design is really, you know, trying to follow that purpose. It tries to, you know, draw attention. It tries to be different all the time. And, you know, these cars are very different. They are all about difference. And they're all about clashing, you know, clashing the three-dimensional form with the two-dimensional forms. There are many books about race cars, and there are some books about car designs, and there's many books about graphic design, but there's not one book about the graphic design of race cars. These cars, they are not, well designed. They're not really perfect graphic, they're not perfect typography. There's so many mistakes on these cars, but they're just so cool.
In black mask they sit in weight of kills and full of mud. A stick snaps in the snow. They know.